even talk about the Carroll food intoleration. This is something you and I both use in practice. I
Mhm.
personally experienced some pretty dramatic changes in my health using it, which is why I use it in my practice. And I
Same.
don't run the IgE food intolerant food allergies. Like I send people to the allergist for those. What about
Yeah.
you?
Same. Same. Yeah. Carroll method has become absolutely foundational in my practice. It definitely changed my life when I finally figured out what my intolerance was. And, some patients who want food sensitivity testing, that's definitely something that, we can do. I typically don't do it. We usually start with Carroll, and usually that's enough. When we
Mhm.
do Carroll and kind of work on healing up their gut, in some cases, if they really want to know what their food allergies are, then we can refer to an allergist. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you with that for sure.
How do you describe to your patients what the Carroll food intolerance evaluation is?
I say that it's a naturopathic diagnostic technique that I've received additional training in that I use to help figure out what my clients are not digesting well in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that as a base to determine what is the optimal diet for each individual. So, Carol is the base, and then we start building a whole foods diet on top of that. How do you explain it?
I like that. I go a little bit more woo with it. And I'm like, hey, it's an energetic food intolerance. Like it's just food that your body doesn't digest well. Like mine's egg. Eggs are good food. They're just not good
Mhm.
food for my body.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
usually there are foods that we already innately know are not good for us. Like some kids don't like mashed potatoes, and their parents are like, "That's weird. Why don't everybody loves mashed potatoes?" Well, that kid
Mhm.
is actually potato intolerant. So there's
Yeah.
like an intuitive knowing, or the other extreme. You guys really like love your potatoes. You love your eggs.
Eat
I
it
worked
all
on
the
a
time.
chicken
Yeah.
farm harvesting chicken eggs. I was a baker, like
Wow.
eggs, eggs, eggs all the time. Three,
Yeah,
three,
you were on
four,
the
and
other
six.
end. You were on
Yeah,
the other end.
exactly.
Yeah, for
Um,
years, I thought I couldn't eat dairy. And so I tried to be vegan for a while, plant-based, like tried to avoid dairy, and my gut was just still a wreck. And then I finally figured out I was actually potato intolerant, and that changed my life
yeah,
dramatically. Yeah.
it's kind of wild. Yeah, the potato thing is a wild one. I'd say it's the most common one in my practice. What about you?
Dairy is the number one that I see, I
When
would
I was
say.
in Washington,
Mhm.
it was dairy, and then moving back to Colorado, it's totally
Oh, that's
potato
so
then dairy.
interesting. Yeah, that's
It
so
is
interesting.
interesting. I don't know
Yeah,
why that is.
I'd say 50% dairy, second most common potato for sure.
Mhm.
And then, fruit's pretty rare, maybe like 1-2% of people. What about you with fruit? Do you see fruit a lot?
I'd say I've got maybe 4 or 5 in my entire few years of being in practice
Yeah,
so far, in five and
same,
a half years. So
same.
people are usually pretty sick and they don't want to reintroduce because they're like, wow, that's why I felt terrible on my juice cleanse I did last summer. Yes, because you're fruit intolerant.
Yes, exactly.
I had one lady who had PMDD that like pretty much cleared up entirely, and all we did was we did a couple digestive support supplements, herbs,
Hmm.
but we cut out fruit, and like night and day difference.
I
Kind of
know. Whenever
crazy.
I have a fruit patient who will actually, follow through and cut it out, it resolves like all of their symptoms. It's incredible. Really incredible.
Yeah. So let's talk about the difference between allergies and intolerances because this is a common
Mhm.
misconception. What we're talking about are not allergies.
Yeah.
Allergies have to do with your immune system saying, we're having a reaction, your immune system is overreacting. That's
Yeah.
not what an intolerance is. You have a really good way you'd like to explain that to your clients?
Yeah, I explain it as, there's kind of three levels of food reactivity that we understand right now. Food sensitivity and food allergy are about our immune system and how our immune system is responding to different foods and
Hmm.
creating antibodies against different foods. Whereas food intolerance is about more about digestive function and which foods uniquely for you, your body is not digesting very well. That's my
Yeah,
my
I
go-to
like it.
explanation.
Keep it simple. How your body is not digesting versus immune system reactivity. And I couldn't remember sensitivity. I was like, I know there's one more that I needed to think about.
Yes,
And then
sensitivity.
in my like God, probably like 400 samples I've run, I've never had someone not come back with a Carroll. And I recall when I was taking the class with Dr. Zeff and Dr. Tish that, Dr. Zeff in 40 something years of practice has said only one person has come back and he didn't have a primary, but he had a combination.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen someone come back and not have a Carroll food intolerance?
not yet. Not
Yeah,
yet.
no. Yeah, I suspect it's not going to get better. I don't know if I'll ever have a Dr. Zeph. Like that guy was like really healthy apparently in his 70s and like some
Wow.
ultra athlete guy.
I
Yeah.
can imagine. I can imagine.
Mhm.
Well, and it's interesting how some clients, some patients can handle a little bit of their intolerance and seem to do okay, whereas other people, and I think this is a little bit about vitality. I don't know about your thoughts around that, but some people cannot tolerate their intolerance at all. Have you
I
seen
mean,
that in
I
practice?
have, and usually what I see is this: as the person has been avoiding their intolerance and they're taking good care, they're doing all the other lifestyle things that are appropriate, and they're not
Mhm.
overburdening themselves with like 500 million supplements, even though they're good ideas, they may not be the right idea. um, that people can tolerate having a little bit more. I was one of those people that, like, when I took egg out of my diet and I got exposed, I was bedridden. I was fucked up from it. But
Mm-hmm.
now I can go to a wedding and have a cake that always has egg in it, and I may
Yep.
not feel too bad even. Like sometimes it would make me feel like almost a little
Yeah.
hungover,
Yep.
but I mean, I've had it multiple times in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been okay. Like it's been not noticeable. Like I'm not getting
Same.
acne, I'm not feeling bad, but like my vitality's improved. Like I take pretty
Yeah.
good care of myself. And I've also learned not to white knuckle things and like stress about it and oh my God, I can't. But I also don't have a craving for it. Like the French macaroons I used to love so much, I don't even want them. That's egg. That's
Mhm.
all egg. It's not
Yeah.
like a cake that has one or two eggs in the entire recipe. I mean, it's a little different.
No, I've had that same experience. I feel like in the beginning, when I took potato out, I could not tolerate it at all. But, potato is in so many things. It's very challenging to avoid. But now I feel like I can go out to eat. Obviously, I try to avoid eating actual potato, but if it's sneaking into something, I may not feel my best, but I'm gonna do okay with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm generally on the side, what the goal of us as naturopathic doctors is to increase people's tolerance to life, not to make them live in a tiny little box and they can't ever do
100%.
anything. And you have to go live on some homestead and grow your own food, although that sounds lovely, but it's also tricky and not
not
feasible
not
for most
realistic
people.
for everyone.
No. You want to be able to go out and enjoy a nice meal with your partner, your family, your friends, and not, exactly. I'm not going to go out and have eggs Benedict, but if I have like, I'm a big fried chicken lover. If I'm going to have fried
Mhm.
chicken, I want to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And not live in, I think it's easy to get in like a state of fear or, orthorexia almost when you're just so
Yeah.
obsessed of like, this has this little thing in it. I can't eat it, which I think can serve you for a time, right? Initially, when I ask clients to eliminate something out of their diet, I usually say, let's try this for a month, complete elimination. Let's really get it out of your diet. And then let's revisit it and see, and, test your reactivity.
Yep. Same. I'm the same way. I think people need that feedback of like, okay, what
Mhm.
happens when you have, what happens when you reintroduce, and then wait a
Mhm.
few days and see. It gives people that like I'm in control and I can decide if I want to have my combination, which the most common I see is fruit plus cane sugar.
Same.
And maybe it just causes a little bit of bloating. Maybe it causes extremely like discomfort, bloating. Your
Yeah.
pants don't fit anymore, right? Like the risk then of like, oh, I have a little bit of gas versus I am incredibly uncomfortable and can't sleep. That's kind of a big noise that is hard to
Yeah.
ignore.
Yeah.
And I oftentimes think in like recurrent SIBO cases, the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that this is a
Mhm.
piece that's missing because it's like the fruit and
That's,
sugar. Almost every SIBO patient I've seen that has had recurrent is
yep.
fruit and sugar.
Same. Same. Yeah. And that can
Yeah,
be a tricky one to avoid too, since fruit is also in many things. But definitely
and
it's doable. It is
it,
doable. But
it
I've
is
seen that
doable.
very frequently in SIBO as well.
One of the other things is like, I shared with you the story about my kiddo who's like 20 months. He's a kid. Like, there's nothing that's like dramatically wrong with him, really.
Hmm.
Um, so there's something called the health scale I like to think about, 10 being best health ever and 0 being, you're dead, 1 being kind of like you're, bedridden, unable to function really. Most people sit around like 4, 5, 6. Like maybe you don't feel good some days, you have low energy.
Hmm.
Okay, you just don't feel great, feel vibrant. And so then I hear, well, why would I need to do this? Like if I'm not sick, like I don't have any symptoms, I don't have to take any medications. Why would I want to do this? Well, I think Like, don't you want to feel better than just fine? Like, don't you want to wake up and have energy? Don't you want to wake up and not feel bloated by the end of the day? Like, or what are some of the other
100%.
symptoms? Yeah, yeah. Some of the other like
Yeah.
weird symptoms that just don't clear up no matter what people do. Like the
Yeah.
Carroll food intolerance can be the thing that's
Can
missing.
be the thing that, yeah, moves the needle for people.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a similar story with my son. He started getting hives and rashes when he was like 12 or 18 months old, and then we tested him, found out it was potato, and never had a hive since. So
Yeah. Yeah, the potato we found out and I was pretty like strict about it when he started eating until we got the clear
mhm.
because he had a birth injury. Once we got the clear that he was good to go and he was like on the other side of getting a neurological diagnosis, I was like, okay, let's test. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And he's good pooper, good eater, whatever. Okay, he has potato. We went out to eat and he had fries and stuff. Well, he didn't poop for like 2.5 days, which is unusual. And then
Mm-hmm.
once he did, he got this really gnarly fungal like diaper rash, and he
Mm,
never had one before.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
then we wait another couple months and we do it again. And then same thing happens. And then we do
Mm-hmm.
it again a couple months later. And I'm like, okay, I like N of threes where we have like three consistent data points. Hives are a little bit trickier. I don't know. Hives, I would probably be one and done, call it good. But like with this,
Yeah.
I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
And again, he got that gnarly candida diaper rash.
Yeah. That's
And
interesting. As my son had something very similar when he would have potato, he would get a diaper rash around
and
his,
just like
bum.
totally, as long as we don't give him potato, and I mean even a little bit, like one fry can throw him a little off, not as bad
Mm-hmm.
as like just letting him eat until he's done.
Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, that was like someone who has good vitality, who I wouldn't think has would have an issue to like see that, because I'd say a lot of times potato folks, I wonder if it's not fully eliminating it because it is so tricky.
It
Potato
is.
folks
Yeah.
often tell me I feel fine, like I don't really notice anything. Like, well,
Mm.
and I've had like wives or husbands tell on their spouse and be like, "Oh well, they're
They
actually
actually
eating
are
French
eating
fries every
some.
day." Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, well, that makes it tough because if you're eating it every day, your body gets habituated to it and can
Yeah.
deal with
Then
it
you
then.
you can't see the difference of being completely cleared from your food intolerance and really how you feel versus if you're eating a little bit every day, even that little bit is causing some inflammation in your body to an extent
Yeah.
and contributing to your symptoms. So yeah, I've seen
So
that.
we kind of touched on this of like not wanting to like white knuckle it, but Dr. Zeph, like he travels often for conferences and things, and I've seen him eat, takeaway food, and he's not
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, the same. It's like potato is hard. You're gonna get it if at takeaway foods or
Yeah.
restaurant foods. And he just takes a little bit of extra like liver supportive herbs so that his body can like process it. Again, if you're eating potato or I'm eating egg every day, all day, like no, we do need to avoid our intolerances, but
Mhm.
that's an easy way to like kind of support our body when we're
Yeah.
traveling so we can still exist and not, feel like we
100%.
have special food all the
100%.
time.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
know
what you
for
find
me,
helpful?
yeah, for me, I know I do really well with digestive enzymes if I'm going out to eat, and my patients do as well.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
little like small tweaks like this, and then we can still enjoy and not worry too
Mhm.
much. Anything else you'd like people to know about the Carroll method?
Hmm. I think just it's hard to emphasize like the remarkable results that I've had with it in my practice and within my own family. And that's really why I use it as a foundation for the core. It's really become the core of what I do in practice.
hmm And I
Yeah.
kind of, I'm in the, after seeing this with my son, I wax and wane on it. And after
Uh-huh.
seeing this with my son in the last few months, I'm like, okay, people just need to be following their Carol. It's just how it is. It's just the base for my practice now. And
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stick with it and trust the process. I've seen good results too. It's just people not wanting to follow through, and that's not my problem. Like, you come to me for information and I want to help you, but I can't make you do anything.
100%. I mean, we can try to guide and coach as much as we can, but at the end of the day, it's your patient's responsibility to take charge of their health and well-being.
Yeah. I don't
100%.
know in Washington, but there's maybe, I'm going to say less than 10 of us Carol practitioners in Colorado.
Yeah. I'm
It's like,
surprised there's that many actually. I don't know how many there is in Washington. Probably a little more than that. I don't know.
yeah, there's a good of us Naturopathic Medicine Institute folks that
in
practice in
Colorado.
Colorado, and most of us are
Awesome.
Carroll trained. Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you're looking for information about the Carroll method, thecarrollinstitute.org, I
I think
think.
so. Yep.
You can get a little bit
.org.
more information. That's from our mentor, Dr. Letitia Dick Cronenberg. Um, and, reach out to your local naturopathic doctor. And if they know someone, then they will. And I have a couple podcasts on this and on my YouTube, and I'll also upload this to my YouTube as well. And feel free to reach out if you have
Awesome.
questions. And I'm sure Dr. Natalie or myself are more than happy to answer questions.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie.
Awesome. All right, Shayna, great to chat with you today.
Bye.
Bye.